and they circled that one. So obviously, as a coach, I care about them all, but I do understand the importance of this game. Don't don't get into a chippy back and forth deal with these guys. Do what we concentrate on doing the little things. Keep your head down and just play football. Don't get into a war of words. Nothing good ever comes from that. And our second guy is always the guy that gets caught. And right. Officials are going to be hypersensitive about that in our game anyway. So they have process, good, bad, and different follow process.
Rob Jasinski was at practice yesterday. What did Chud have to say to the kids?
Yeah, he was really good. It was great that he came. Graduated, orchestrated that whole thing. And the biggest thing that he told our guys was just, excellent. Whatever you do in life, and it was really good.
You coordinator guy. Any tips for you guys? For
you know what? We didn't even talk football. Yeah, okay. Those are those kind of things. Sometimes as coaches, you talk football so much that you just want to talk about life and other things. And I think, especially with our young men and their age, every time.
He's gone for Okay, guys, let's go. 5. And welcome back, everybody. We're live from Sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show. We are streaming right now on BCSN, as promised. Junior football players Chad Berg and Thomas Zyrus. And, of course, the question is, Chad Berg is as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's always in the background. Yeah.
Thomas, how about you? You do a little karaoke, anything like that?
Nah, I mean, I think I'm pretty good myself, but I think my sister has those singing genes, so I'll leave that to her.
Perfect. Let's talk about the St. Francis game this week. What's that mean to you?
To me, it's just another game. I prepare the same. It's just the rivalry whole is a little bit overrated in my opinion. I mean, you can't think it's, St. Francis. You go in that week like any other week. Prepare, you go out there and play the best of your ability.
How about for you, Chad?
Same way, just same preparation, but obviously there's going to be a lot of hype around it. Just looking forward to it. I've been at the game since I could walk, just watching my cousins, my brothers. So to be out there on the field this Friday is going to be fun.
Is it a good week to stay away from social media?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
For sure.
How about again? You were just talking about for sure, Thomas. I mean, obviously, I'm sure Coach Mack and the coaches have kind of drilled it in you guys kind of stay off the web,
every
right?
every day. I mean, you can get lost in that real quick, and especially if you're trying to play the next level. I mean, they're watching, what you're saying and what you're putting out there, and how you represent yourself at your school is very important.
And again, we're talking about the game in general, but there's so much involved other than just the rivalry. There's points, there's the track. I mean, you guys are looking maybe to run the table at the end of the year. I'm sure you guys have talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, our goal this year was to
Tech. So being a strong runner like that, I mean, we had the group tackle. At times we did that. At times we didn't. It takes more than one guy to bring him down.
Going from south to your lane. Tell you, I call your name a lot. You've been involved with a lot of tackles this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good year. Obviously, I don't want to be making a lot of tackles because as a safety, you don't
Right,
really want to
exactly.
be your name called every time. You want to be in there for broken up passes and stuff. But yeah, it's been a good year.
On the defensive side, what do you look forward to in that St. Francis game tomorrow?
I just look forward to their run first team, and I just can't wait to see what our boys bring, because when we bring the pressure and it's on, it's fun.
Again, Thomas, for you, I know you've made a lot of players like that. Tell me about the recruiting experience right now.
Right now it's pretty fun. I mean, me and Brady went to, and then we went to Cincinnati, and then I'm planning a trip to Michigan State in a couple weeks. If you can see yourself there in a couple of years or not, and the people and the environment, everything.
Against Murray State, the family was the tailgate, party of the year. So, what is special about
I mean, we just travel in large packs. Wherever we go, there's a lot of people. Like this weekend, there's going to be a ton of people in for not only St. Francis game, but down at BG, obviously. So we'll be in full force on Friday and Saturday afternoon. So.
Now, are you guys still carrying that baby picture of Mitch around?
Oh yeah. Every time he gets off the bus, we have it, and it's just a blast.
Good to see both of you guys.
Yeah.
Chad, good to see you. Thomas,
Thank you.
Good to see you as well. When we come back, Grant Leslie and Brad Geiser in the house. Live from Sideline. We're live from sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show. And of course, we are streaming through BCSN right now. Joining me now, Grant Leslie and Senior Brad Geis. And of course, you guys had a game.
And I know you're part of it last year, you know, but playing tomorrow I can't even say. I'm so excited.
And again, you know, you didn't get to play last year. What could, you know, just from the sidelines, what was that experience like, just watching it and seeing the event happen?
Well, you know, I'm glad I could be there with my team, and, you know, obviously we won, so it was super fun to celebrate with them, but I really wanted to be out there, and it did hurt not being able to be out there and be part of it.
How about for you, Grant?
Oh, what does this game mean to me?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very important game. It's not only it's a very fun game, so it'll mean so much to me to come out with a win.
When you see these guys during the week, do you see them at all? The guys that you used to play with?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you go to grade school?
St. Josephania.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of those kids went to St. Francis, and it'll mean a lot showing them that our school is better at football.
Is St. Joe, Sylvania, is that a St. John's hotbed? Is it a St. Francis hotbed, or is it pretty much split?
It's a big mix.
For you, Brad, obviously you transferred here. What was that decision in itself? What made you decide to come to St. John's in the first place?
That it wasn't as important. We couldn't get enough kids out, so we talked to Coach Mack. We talked to other people that went here, and we just decided that it was best for me to make the switch.
I was going to say, talking about 8-man football, they just had a big meeting about a week or so ago. You got Toledo Christian involved, the Strikers involved, the Holgate. When you see that kind of shaking out, what do you think about that?
Well, obviously it's great for them that they still get to play, but it's just kind of unfortunate that they can't have enough kids to field an 11-man team.
Grant, again, back to the St. Francis game tomorrow night. What are you most looking forward to tomorrow night?
I'm very confident. It's going to be a different atmosphere than last year. They're coming out very confident, and I think I've got a lot of confidence in our team. I think it'll be a good battle, and I'm looking forward to the game. It's going to be very exciting. I really touchdown. It's going to be good. It's going to feel good.
Rob Jasinski shows up at practice yesterday. What did that mean for you?
Oh, it was great to hear what he had to say to us. A lot of those guys that come out, especially him, is hearing it from stuff that he was talking about, like coming out, adversity, things like that. Hearing that message over and over again, it really resonates with me. Learning a lot of that stuff that he was talking about at an early age, I feel like I can really take something away from it.
I was going to say, how well do you know who Rob Jasinski is?
Knowing who he was and how hard he worked to get what he got, it was great to hear that from somebody who was successful and who was also a Titan.
I was going to say, what was the biggest thing you got out of this speech yesterday?
I mean, we hear it all the time. Everybody tells us how important the Titan Brotherhood is, and he graduated in 80, whenever he did, and just to hear him come back, to be excited to come back and just tell us what the Brotherhood meant to him and how hard he's still involved with St. John's, it's huge.
When you take the field tomorrow night, what are you going to be thinking about?
We got a lot of people to prove wrong. I mean, everybody's hyping up St. Francis. They're 5-1 and all that, but we don't really care. We know that if we play our hardest and play our best, we're going to get it to the playoffs.
How about for you, Grant?
Yeah.
Well, what will you be thinking about at the Glass Bowl tomorrow?
I'm just going to try to keep focused. Like every game, if I do my pregame routine, I can really come out, clear mind, get out there, and give it everything I got.
Guys, good to see both of you. Grant, good to see you as well. Brad,
Thank you.
always good to see you. When we come back, we're going to talk to our instructor, Tom Cole, of course, my color guy in the booth. He has Brady Lichtenberg with him talking about the SJJ broadcasting class. They'll be on in just a moment. We are live from sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show. live from sidelines in Maumee. Joining right now on BCSN, Mr. Instructor Tom Cole, student and quarterback Brady Lichtenberg, talking about the SJJ broadcasting class. And you're new to the mix of the SJJ broadcasting class. What are you bringing to the table, man?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask QB1 here. Maybe maybe not much. I'm not sure. But no, you would like it, Gary. The guys are super talented, and we've done interviews where they take control and they do the interview, and then we do regular shows that they have on SJTV. And the guys have been on BCSN, and they've inserted their interviews in the pregame show. During the regular game at halftime, Brady's going to be on with an interview he did. He'll be on the pregame show for the St. John St. Francis game on BCSN. So I think it's been a terrific experience for the guys.
So, Brady, for you already feeling like you can take over for Tony Romo on CBS?
I don't know about that one, but all the experience he has, and it's definitely increased my interest and maybe want to do this when I get older. And it's a fun class. I have that for.
Do you see yourself years ago?
Yeah,
class that maybe wasn't there before.
Yeah. Well, this is like a first-year class, but I mean, if we didn't have Mr. Cole with a guy like him with his experience, it'd be a lot different, and we wouldn't be getting some of the knowledge that we get from him. He's a really wise guy and knows what he's talking about, and makes the class fun at the same time.
Tom, is it just
Really what I do, Gary, and you'd be great. We should get you involved in the class with your experience. What I do is I teach broadcasting at Adrian College also, and have done it for years. So really, I took the college class and brought that to interviewer. How do you interview somebody? I mean, you need an open, you need some questions, and you need a close. And, we both work with people that, well, what are the questions going to be? And the person, well, I'll think of something when it happens. And that's what the interview sounds like. So the students get an understanding that that's an art form. And then to drive a show, Brady drives a lot of our shows where he's the guy. And there's two side guys, but he does the open, he does the breaks, he brings the other people in. And I always tell Brady that your job is to make the other people, look and sound good when you're driving the show. You drive the show on the radio broadcast. When you're kind enough to let me come in the booth, you set me up. Hey, what did you think of this? Why did this work? Why didn't it work? You're setting that person up to look good, and that's it all in the show, different perspectives.
Brady, again, you've been doing this for a little while now. What's the big thing you get out of it? Are you looking to be a play-by-play guy? You want to be a color guy? What's your focus down the road?
At this point, I don't really know.
Right.
But I'm just trying to do as many things as I can, so I have experience from that. Whether it's driving the Game Day Nation show in the morning, on Friday mornings, or interviewing Coach Mack and Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner, he does every Wednesday with Coach Mack.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Hopefully, this will help me down the road, which I'm sure it will. And we'll see where it takes me.
What's he going to bring on? What are you going to bring on Friday? Can you give us a preview on Friday?
On Friday for the game or for the interview?
Actually, give me both.
I like it.
The interview is a good interview with Coach Mack. He's really good at answering questions, which makes it a lot easier for me as the interviewer, which is hopefully getting some knowledge out of that. And for the game, we're just going to come out, play hard in a big rivalry game, and hopefully take it to the friendlies.
Nervous at all interviewing Coach Mack?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird. The first one was definitely like the most nerve-wracking. It was kind of standing in front of the camera, but now it's kind of gotten to be it's a comfortable thing. We do it weekly, so it's been very, very good.
When you're interviewing the coach, what's the focus of your interview?
I usually ask him on how last week's game will build up to this one, something about the team we're playing that week, and then every once in a while I'll throw in an interesting question at him.
Talk about it. Let's touch on the game tomorrow night. What are you looking forward to tomorrow night?
There's going to be a lot of energy, I'm sure, with a rivalry game. cherish these moments with your brothers.
How about for you, Tom? You've been involved for one game since man.
Brady's interview is going to run in the quarterback first three, and Brady got the last three. This will be his third one, and we talked about perspective there, and we both chatted about. I think Brady agreed that, you know, I don't remember any games from college that he played in, and nothing from high school really. I remember all didn't go well.
You know, Tom, we'll talk about it in the booth tomorrow night, but you're you know, looking ahead to this game on Friday. What would you like to focus on tomorrow night?
That's a really tough question. I mean, I think that, you know, we hit those two really tough games. I mean, that's a tough. First of all, I think our conference is one of the toughest ones in the state of Ohio. You can make a case for it's the toughest from top to bottom. And then you get Central and Whitmer back to back. That was a tough go. I think we could have gotten Central. You talked about it very adroitly in the broadcast. We get the fall and the fumble in the end zone, and that's a touchdown and doesn't kick out and become a safety. We win that ball game.
Right.
And
then there's the alleged fumble with Brady with 3:53 to go as well. So.
And probably about four rough QB1 here that they didn't call. That he doesn't complain, but you know. Right. But anyways, this game is so huge. I think that our offense, the defense has gotten better, more physical. Having Gary back there, and you know, he's so smart. He reads things really well, so that helps us a lot. So we're better defensively, and the offensive weapons that we have are incredible. QB1 here is the best long ball thrower I've ever seen. Great. Brad Geis over there. Big
Live from sidelines in Maumee. It's the St. John's Jesuit Coaches Show. We are streaming right now live on BCSN. We're going to switch away from football for a little bit. We're going to talk about esports at St. John's Jesuit. And Gabe Gonzalez is here. He's the coach. We've never had it before. Why do we have it now?
Actually, it was brought up to my attention by Bob Ronay, our athletic director. He approached me just before the school year started, probably about a month before the school year started, said he was interested in getting the esports program started and asked if I'd be interested in coaching it. I thought it was something unique to the school, something that would be good for guys who aren't in what we consider traditional sports. So I thought, yeah, it'd be a good thing to do, so here we are.
And again, we were talking before we even came on about how St. John's, you have lacrosse players, hockey players, soccer players, golf, all this stuff, and this kind of adds to the mix, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, and you'll even see guys that we were set up in the Leiden Center along with all the other sports as well, and it was funny to watch the basketball players and the football players, and they all wanted to come over and try their hand at some Smash Brothers too. So it was fun to watch them. Everybody kind of knows what it's about, and they all like it. They all enjoy it.
Also joining us, sophomore Brecken Dunkel. And what does it mean to you, man? I mean, obviously you're walking the halls, and all of a sudden you hear esports is coming to St. John's. What was that like?
It was really, I don't even remember how I really heard about it. I think it was, we have our TV4, which is like a news broadcast station. I believe they just mentioned it once or twice. And I'm like, hey, they're playing Super Smash Bros. So I decided, hey, I'm going to go over there, check it out. And we had a bunch of people sign up, but we had a lot of conflicts with other sports for the fall season.
Right.
So, but I was able to make it, and now we have, I believe, 6 people on the Smash team for this season.
And the thing is, Gabe, we talked even before the broadcast how huge esports are nowadays. How much has it progressed in the last 3-4 years?
It's grown dramatically. I mean, there are schools within Ohio that are offering scholarships through esports programs, including Lord's. Ohio Northern has an esports team. Ohio State has an esports team. Dedicated to their esports program.
Again, it's a major. How does that come about at a college? That esports is a major at a college?
Yeah, it's a different world than when we grew up in, that's for sure. So it's something that the guys are. It's just as competitive as anything else that any of the other sports programs. They're recruiting these kids that they watch them play in these tournaments and watch the stats online, and they actually, offer these scholarships to these guys. So,
is that something you look forward to in the future, Brecken?
Yeah, I would love to be able to get scholarships for certain things. Like, I know I'm not going to be, I'm never going to be that star football player.
Right.
So it's nice to know that if, as well as academic scholarships, I'm also able to get a scholarship for something I enjoy, video games, something I really enjoy. I'm able to just play it, have some fun with it, and be able to, get scholarships.
So you're saying you can't play football, but you own Madden? How good are you at Madden?
Oh, I don't play that much.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now, the games in particular that you're involved with, talk about those.
I right now am playing Super Smash Bros. That's the only thing we're offering at the moment because of technical limitations with computers. But pretty much what it is we set up a team. We set up a match with a different school based on how they set it up, and then we go in, we play the games. Best out of we get 3 matches, about 5, and then you play. Team does the best, and then pretty much something out of the ordinary where
video games themselves, but I've never been to the esports competitive kind of thing like that, the online gaming that's been taken off. But I know, and we talk about the popularity of it. I was reading some stats recently that said that the League of Legends, which is one of the games that are offered through this league that we're in, Legends for the World Championship, league had just under 19 site had more viewers than
grading, you could do that, but it really all just depends on how much you're going to put into it, like any other sport.
Right. Gabe, obviously this is the first year of it. Where can it go from here?
Yeah, well, like I said, this year, as Brecken mentioned, there are 4 games that are offered, but we're only